is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
It's that time again! Time for another Celebrity Afterlife Report, a weekly roundup of all the latest gossip about your favorite deceased celebrities. I'm your host, the Celebrity Medium. Let's do it. Famous fashion designer Oscar de la Renta transitioned to the next world this past week, and almost immediately upon his arrival, he was dragged into one of the crazier stories going on currently in the afterlife. On last week's report, I told you about how Mother Teresa, the nun from Calcutta who ministered to the poor of India, has become an icon to thousands of gay men in the next world since she decided to become a disco diva. As I told you, the good sister has become a sensation with an audience that appreciates the unintended campiness of her act. Some of her fans have gone so far as to design over-the-top outfits for her to perform in. And that's where Mr. De La Renta comes in. It seems, according to my source, that at least a few of her fans think that things have gone too far and that the outlandish costumes ridicule a woman who did many great things during her time on the earthly plane. Within minutes of De La Renta's arrival, some of those concerned fans took him on the side, explained the situation to him, and pleaded with him to design some more dignified outfits for Teresa to wear on stage. My source tells me that the designer listened politely to their story and said that as he had just arrived in the afterlife, he would need some time to orient himself before he could commit to anything. The Terry's boys, as her gay fans call themselves, said they understood he needed some time but begged him to seriously consider putting together an on-stage wardrobe for her. De La Renta accepted their invitation to go to one of Mother Teresa's shows to see what all the hubbub is about. I have the feeling we have not heard the last of this story, and we will, of course, stay on top of it. When we last heard from Jim Morrison, the singer for The Doors, he was being booed off the stage as he performed with his afterlife group called The Real Legends. Now, this story has been extensively covered on the report in the past, so I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version to get you up to speed. Jim was in a band called The Legends with Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. He had a falling out with them and left in a huff to start The Real Legends, the other members of which were lookalikes of Jimmy and Janis. That did not set well with audiences, which caused the Lizard King to cancel the Real Legends tour. Now, if you thought that would put Morrison into retirement, you thought wrong. According to a source close to him, after the singer took time to lick his wounds, he decided to try even harder to show up his former bandmates. Jack Bruce, the bass player for the supergroup Cream, transitioned to the next world over the weekend. Along with the expected greeter to the stars, James Brown, guess who was there to greet him? If you guessed Jim Morrison, pick a prize from the top shelf. Mr. Leatherpants immediately cornered Bruce to try to convince him to join a reconstituted Real Legends band. Seems that Morrison has realized the error he made in using no-name lookalikes in the previous version of the band, and has now decided to try to recruit legitimate rock legends. What my source tells me is accurate. Jack Bruce seems to be Morrison's first conquest in his war to conquer the afterlife rock scene. I'm told that Bruce, contrary to his reputation for grumpiness, seemed to be amused by Morrison's pitch and agreed to join the band on the spot. A little bird tells me that Bruce is only the first of many musicians that Morrison plans on trying to sign up. So I guess the Real Legends band is not as defunct as many had assumed. If you've ever been in a thrift store, you've almost certainly seen at least one print of a painting of children with really big eyes. Those paintings, allegedly done by Walter Keane, were extremely popular in the 1960s. I say allegedly because Walter Keane's ex-wife Margaret says she was the real artist behind the kitschy paintings, forced by Walter to let him take the credit for the work that made him millions of dollars. While Margaret is still on the earthly plane at age 87, Walter transitioned to the next world in 2000. Although Margaret was awarded $4 million in a lawsuit claiming authorship of the pictures, Walter is still proclaiming to anyone who will listen that he was in fact the creator of the wide-eyed waifs. To support his claim, he has opened the Keane Fine Art Gallery, which features dozens of, quote, his, unquote, paintings. My sources tell me, however, that Walter has employed several young women who crank out the artwork in secret, as Margaret Keane says she was forced to do during her marriage to Walter. A source tells me that at least one Afterlife news reporter has been talking to one of the artists behind Keane's new paintings, and that she is ready to spill her secrets publicly. Word is that she was dating Keane, and that she has become disenchanted with the relationship. I can't help but wonder if his ex-wife Margaret knows about this, and if so, what she thinks about history repeating itself with her former hubby. Sometimes it seems that a resident of the next world is patiently, or not so patiently, waiting for a certain person to arrive so they can put a plan into action. Actress Marcia Strassman, best known for playing the wife of the titular character on Welcome Back, Kotter, transitioned to the afterlife over the weekend. Waiting at the arrival point for her, bouquet of flowers in hand, was her former Kotter co-star Ron Palillo, who played Arnold Horshack on the popular sitcom. Palillo, who had expressed his desire to put together a remake of Welcome Back, Kotter when he was still on the earthly plane, has apparently not abandoned that idea. No sooner had Palillo given Strassman his welcoming gift that he launched into his plan to revive the show, with Marcia once again playing the long-suffering wife. My source, who was close enough to overhear their conversation, says that when Strassman asked him who would play Mr. Kotter, Palillo's answer was, "Well, I haven't worked that out yet," to which Strassman laughed and said, "Give me a call when you have that figured out, Ron." She patted Palillo on the back and walked off into her new existence, still chuckling to herself. Sounds like Ron's plan still has a few wrinkles to be ironed out before Marcia will sign on to it. Okay, gang, that's it for the Celebrity Afterlife Report for this week. Please come back next week when we'll have another roundup of the latest gossip about all your favorite deceased celebs. I'm the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.